If you guys have been with me for a while, you'll know that I'm a collector of 70s and 80s TV and movie cars. Mostly Ertl, but I do have other ones like this Road Champs BJ and the Bear Trans Am. These things are a lot of fun to collect, but unfortunately there's no real good way to display them individually. Like the way these bubbles are made, you know, they sit up higher than what the bottom of the card is, so if you try to display them on their own like this, you know, they tilt too far forward or they just won't even stand up all together. So I've kind of come up with a little solution here. I've made this wooden display stand, and it's pretty nice. It's very stable. You get to see probably 98% of the card. It's very unobstructed. It's kind of tilted back a little bit at an angle, and you can also easily see the back of the card as well. So let's head downstairs and we'll make a couple more of these. So the first step we're going to do is cut our dowels to length, and for that we're using 3/8 inch by 48 inches long poplar dowels. I've got our stop set at 7 inches already, so we'll get consistent 7-inch lengths. So here we go. And next we're going to take the dowels to the belt sander and try to remove a little bit of that fuzz. So the next step will be cutting the grooves in our wooden dowels, and for that I have these two pieces of wood with the 3/8 holes in them already, and you simply put the dowel in those holes, and then that'll give you a way to run it across the blade. So here we go. Now that the wooden dowels are all finished, the next step we're going to be working on the bases, and for that I have this 3/4 inch glued on edge pine, and all I want to do right now is put a fresh cut on this edge here before we take it to the router table. We're just simply using a 1/4 inch round over bit that's set about an 1/8 inch too high, and what that will do is give us a step in the leading edge of our stand. Next, I'd like to cut the base material to the correct depth, and that's about 1 3/4 inches. I've already set the fence for that, so we're ready to go. In this next step, I'm going to put a fresh end cut on the board. I have the square end to the back, so in case there's any blowout, it'll be on the back side of the cut. Next, we're going to cut the stands to their proper length, which is 6 inches. I've already got the fence set for that, so we're all set to go. Once again, we'll be keeping the square side to the back, so any blowout won't be visible from the front of the stand. And these are the 3 carted vehicles that we're making the stands for. Bobby Allison, the Fall Guy, and the good old General Lee. Now I found there's not too much measuring to do for getting the distances on the wooden dowels. All I simply have been doing is laying the card on top of the stand about like this here, making sure I got equal distances, and just eyeballing it, and then lightly scribing in a pencil line along the edges here. And then once we have those 2 marks established, I take a speed square and simply draw an intersecting line at the 3/8 inch mark on both of the lines. And that's our depth for the hole. And we're ready to go to the drill press. And really, each one of these cards should be done on their own, made specifically for that stand, because the widths of the cards do vary just a little bit, and so it'd be better off just to take your time and make them one at a time. So this contraption here is nothing more than a jig for drilling. This is a backstop. This piece here is to keep a constant height at the back of the stand, so that when we drill, we'll get a consistent angle every time. Of course, this is a 3/8 Forstner bit, and I've already got the depth stop adjusted, so we're ready to start drilling our holes. And each time I like to line this back up, I always try to clean the bit out, just so that it's a fresh start every time. And now all we have left to do is final assembly, which is really simple. Basically, we're just putting the dowels in the holes, making sure that the slots line up with each other, and take the car and slide it down the slots, and there you go. You're all done. Well, this pretty much concludes this video. These stands were a lot of fun to make on a rainy Saturday afternoon. They were fairly easy and simple. You don't really need a whole lot of fancy material, just some wooden dowels and some scrap pine. So I really hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.